Hello, good morning to all. I am Khaja Asifullah, lecturer in chemistry from Government Degree College, Palaknuma, Hyderabad. Today, I present a video lesson on thermodynamics from chemistry. It's a part 4, means it is a fourth lesson in the series of lessons from thermodynamics, chemistry. Today we will discuss few things like enthalpy, heat capacity, etc. Let us first take enthalpy of a reaction or a system, or heat content of a process or a system. Here, because we are dealing in chemistry, therefore a process may be a chemical process in which a reaction is carried out. Now the equation for first law of thermodynamics, as we discussed it earlier, when the process under consideration is carried out at constant volume, will be dE is equal to dou Q minus P dV. Or if we write in terms of dou Q, it will be dou Q is equal to dE plus P dV. Here Q is heat, whether it is absorbed or released by the system or process. E is its internal energy. P, the pressure applied on the gas or system. It is P external or external pressure applied. And V is the volume of gas. And these are the small changes brought in heat. So it is represented by dou Q. Small change in internal energy represented by dE, and a small change in volume due to absorption of heat by the system. When the system absorbs heat, the heat absorbed will be utilized in two ways. In one, it will increase its internal energy, means the system or the chemical process will increase its internal energy. For example, if a reaction is going on, the reactants will absorb energy, and the heat absorbed will be utilized to increase their internal energy as well as to do some work. What type of work? It is pressure volume work, which is given by the product of external pressure applied and the change in volume. But now we will consider a situation where the volume is kept constant. When volume is kept constant means some extra pressure is applied on the system so that its volume is not increased when it absorbs energy. Now there is only one way for the system to utilize that heat which is absorbed by, and that way is to increase its internal energy. Why? Because it cannot do any work. The reason is the volume is kept constant. When volume is kept constant, means initial volume V1 and the final volume V2 will be same. Therefore, change in volume V2 minus V1 or dV or delta V will be equal to 0. And when 0 is multiplied by external pressure, the resultant will be 0. Therefore, the work done by the system will be taken as 0. When work is 0, the heat utilized will be only, it will be utilized to increase the internal energy of the system. That is the only way remain. Now, at constant volume, therefore, increase in internal energy will be equal to heat absorbed. Either you can say the heat absorbed is equal to change in internal energy, or we can say the increase in internal energy is equal to the heat absorbed by the system. Or sometimes it may be evolved, means the system will give energy to the surrounding. When it gives energy in the form of heat, what will happen? Its internal energy will decrease. Therefore, there can be two different conditions. If heat is absorbed, the change in internal energy is increase in internal energy and it will be equal to heat absorbed. And when heat is evolved or given by the system, there will be decrease or fall in its internal energy, that will again be equal to heat evolved. Most of the chemical changes, as I told you just now, we are dealing with thermodynamics in chemistry, so we will study chemical changes or chemical processes or chemical system. Maybe one or more reactants will produce product. Most of the chemical changes are studied at constant pressure. Why? Because when we perform experiments in laboratory, there is no way to control the pressure, which is external pressure. We cannot continue the experiment, or we cannot do the experiment in a closed vessel like a cylinder fitted with a piston in lab. So we have to do it in ordinary apparatus like a beaker or a conical flask, etc. Then what will happen? The pressure will be constant. There will be no change, or we cannot apply the pressure. And that external pressure most of the time in lab will be equal to atmospheric pressure. And we know generally atmospheric pressure at ordinary conditions of temperature is equal to 1 atmosphere. Hence, heat absorbed is used to increase internal energy and in doing some work by the chemical reaction, or the reactants will do some work. What type of work they do? Their volume will increase. Why? Because we are keeping pressure constant. Therefore, they will do pressure volume type of work. And pressure volume type of work is given by P delta V, that is external pressure multiplied by change in volume delta V or dV. Now, there are two factors. One is internal energy, TE, and the work done, which is PdV. Why? Because there will be change in internal energy of the system, and the system will do some work. Therefore, that heat utilized, or when a system is heated, then the energy absorbed will be utilized in two ways. One in increase in energy called as internal energy, the other is to do some work. So when we combine these two we get a new function called as enthalpy or heat content, and it is represented by H. So what is heat content of the system or enthalpy of the system? It is nothing but the sum of increase in internal energy or change in internal energy and the work done by a chemical system or chemical process. So in chemistry, the enthalpy of a substance or enthalpy of reactants or products is given by the change or increase or decrease. Change may be of two types, either it is increase in internal energy or decrease in internal energy. And it should be sum up with the work done by the system, that is PV or P delta V. So enthalpy, it is represented by H. Enthalpy of a system is represented by H. Of a substance or a system is the total amount of energy stored in it. So we can define the heat content or enthalpy of a substance as the total amount of energy which is stored in it. Since internal energy, pressure, and volume are definite properties of a system called as state functions. These are state functions. These properties are state function, means they depend only on the state of function. If a system is in initial state, then going to final state, then the values will be, they will depend on initial state and then to final state and not the path followed. Therefore, these are called state functions. Hence, H is also a definite property. Why? Because we are getting H by adding this. Therefore, H is also a definite property, or H is a state function, means enthalpy is a state function. So remember, internal energy, pressure, volume, and enthalpy are the state functions, and value of H depends upon state of the system and not on the path followed. So value of H depends on initial and final state of the system. As we know, we cannot calculate, or it is not possible for us to calculate the internal energy of a system, but we can calculate the change in internal energy. Similarly, it is not possible for us to calculate enthalpy of a system, but we can calculate change in enthalpy of a system, which can be done as follows. Let us consider a system in its initial state and then final state. Only two states of system are considered here. First state or initial state and final state or second state. Now let H1 be the enthalpy of the system, E1 be the internal energy of the system, and V1 be the volume of the system in initial state. And in final state, their values may be H2, E2, and V2. Then we are keeping pressure as constant. So at constant pressure, the values of enthalpy, internal energy, and volume in initial state are H1, E1, and V1. And final state, these are H2, E2, and V2. Then the enthalpy of a system in its initial and final states at constant pressure will be given as H1 is equal to E1 plus PV1 and H2 is equal to E2 plus V2, PV2. And change in enthalpy. How can we calculate change in enthalpy, we can subtract the enthalpy of the substance or the system in final state from initial state. So H2 minus H1 or H1 minus H2. In both ways we can do. If one stands for reactants and 2 for products, then the change in enthalpy will be enthalpy of product minus enthalpy of reactants, or enthalpy of reactants minus enthalpy of product. But generally we take second state's enthalpy first. So it is H2 minus H1, that is given by delta H, and delta H will be equal to E2 plus PV2. Why? Because the value of H2 is this much, minus E1 plus PV1, because its value is this much. Now if we expand this, it will become E2 minus E1, and E2 minus E1 will be equal to delta E, that is change in internal energy. Either it may be increase in internal energy or decrease in internal. And the work P2 minus PV2 minus PV1. So PV2, PV1 are nothing but the work done by the system in second state and first state. So we can take P common. So it is V2 minus V1 or P delta V. So it is called work done by the system when it absorbs energy. Therefore, delta H, or change in enthalpy of a system, is given by delta E plus W. Means change in enthalpy is sum of change in internal energy and work done. But if we keep the pressure constant, there will be no increase or decrease in volume. So change in volume, that is delta V, will be 0. As a result, product P delta V will be 0. And we can say no work is done, or W is equal to 0. Now when W will be equal to 0, delta H will become equal to delta E. So change in enthalpy is equal to change in internal energy, means the heat absorbed by the system is totally utilized to increase its internal energy, or the heat given out by the system is equal to change in internal energy. If it is given out, internal energy will decrease. If it is taken in or absorbed, then it is increase in internal energy. Now, according to first law of thermodynamics, we know that internal energy and heat absorbed, work done are related in this way. Change in internal energy, that is delta E, is the difference between heat absorbed and work done. Why? To do some work, the system needs some heat or energy in the form of heat. So the total heat absorbed will be utilized in two ways: to increase internal energy and to do work. Or the increase in internal energy will be heat absorbed minus work done, or heat absorbed minus some energy used to do some work. Therefore, delta H is equal to delta E plus W will become delta H is equal to Q minus W plus W plus W minus W will result into 0, or their sum will be 0. Therefore, delta H is equal to Q. Why it happens so? Because there is no work done. As a result, the heat absorb is utilized to change the enthalpy of the system. Now, at constant pressure, the heat heat absorbed will be given as QP, and at constant volume, heat is given by QV. Here P represent constant pressure and V constant volume. Therefore, it is at constant pressure means some work will be done by the system, therefore it will be equal to delta H. And at constant volume, no work is done, so the heat absorbed will be utilized to increase internal energy, or the change in internal energy will be equal to heat absorbed at constant volume. So finally, we can say if pressure is kept constant, as we said just now, in ordinary conditions of temperature in laboratory, we keep pressure constant, then the heat absorbed will be utilized to do work as well as to increase internal energy. Therefore, it is equal to change in enthalpy. If we have a system where we can keep the volume constant, so then the heat absorbed will be equal to the difference in internal energy. So there will be two different cases. One at constant pressure, the other at constant volume. So we should remember that at constant volume, because no work is done, therefore QP will be equal to QV plus P delta V. QP is equal to QV plus P delta V. And P delta V is nothing but work. Therefore, QP will be equal to QV plus W. Now, what are the signs that can be given to change in enthalpy? Sign convention of delta H. As I told you, heat can be gained or lost. Depending upon that, the change in enthalpy also can have a positive sign or a negative sign. For that, let us try to understand by taking an example in which a reaction is taking place. Here, A are the reactants and B are the products. Okay, reactant A produce product B. Then enthalpy or heat content of A will be given as HA or H of reactants, or enthalpy of reactants, and HB means enthalpy of B or enthalpy of product. Then we can keep delta H as equal to HB minus HA. Delta H, that is change in enthalpy, can be calculated as HB minus HA. Now the units of H, delta H or H are kilocalories or kilojoules. Whenever a reaction takes place, delta H can be expressed in kilocalories per mole or in kilojoules per mole. The difference or change in enthalpy, as just now I told you, will be equal to delta H, and that will be equal to HB minus HA, or change in enthalpy is equal to enthalpy of product minus enthalpy of reactant. Now, if enthalpy of product is more, then the sign for delta H will be positive, and the reaction is generally called as endothermic. So for endothermic reaction, delta H will be positive. And if enthalpy of A or reactants is more and enthalpy of B or product is less, then we will get a negative sign, which is nothing but for exothermic reaction. So for exothermic reaction, delta H will be negative. So we should remember that for an exothermic reaction, delta H is negative, means the heat or energy is given out by the system or the reactants. And if it is positive, the reaction is called endothermic, during which heat is absorbed. So for a reaction in which heat content of the reactants is more than heat content of the product, then delta H will be 0, or sorry, less than 0, or delta H is negative. For a reaction in which heat content of reactants is less than the heat content of product, then it is greater than 0, or delta H is positive. Now, enthalpy change accompanied by a certain process called the enthalpy of that reaction. Thus, enthalpy of evaporation means the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of a substance is converted from one physical form to another, or it is converted from liquid state to vapor state. So what is enthalpy of evaporation? It is nothing but the change in enthalpy when 1 mole of substance is completely converted into vapor. Okay, 1 mole of liquid should be converted into vapor. Then that enthalpy change is called enthalpy of evaporation. Reverse may be the case for this is nothing but enthalpy of condensation. So enthalpy of condensation is nothing but when 1 mole of vapor condenses to form liquid, the change in enthalpy is called enthalpy of condensation. So it takes place by absorption of heat. Evaporation results when the heat is absorbed. When heat is absorbed by a liquid, molecules of liquid will gain energy in the form of heat, and their kinetic energy will increase. Then they will move in different directions. When they come near to surface of the liquid, the force of attraction will be less than their kinetic energy. As a result, they get evaporated. So in this way, when heat is absorbed, liquid converts into vapors. It is given by positive sign. Why? Because it absorbs energy, whereas enthalpy of condensation is given by negative sign. Why? Because during condensation, they lose energy. Means, any substance present in gaseous state will have more energy, and that will have less energy in liquid state. Therefore, when it is converted into liquid, it will give energy, and that energy will be taken as negative. Now, relation between heats of reaction at constant volume and constant pressure. So, heat of reaction at constant volume is given by QV. Q for heat, V represent constant volume, and Q for heat and P represent for constant pressure. So we are trying to make a relationship between QV and QP. So we have to recall that we know that delta H is equal to delta E plus P delta V. Means change in enthalpy is the sum of change in internal energy plus work done. Now, QV means heat absorbed at constant volume. At constant volume means delta V is 0, P delta V will become 0. Therefore, this will be equal to change in internal energy. The whole heat absorbed is equal to change in internal energy. Whereas when pressure is kept constant, the system will do some work because there will be change in volume. Therefore, it will be equal to enthalpy. So this will be equal to delta E plus P delta V, or it will be equal to delta E plus work. So these are not equal. QP and QV are not equal. Generally, QP will be greater than QV. Why? When pressure is kept constant, the system will not do any work, so it will utilize the heat or energy to increase its internal energy. Means the more energy is stored now in the substance or the system than in the case of constant volume. At constant volume, it will do some work. It means it will lose some energy to do some work. Therefore, the heat content will not be equal to the heat content at constant pressure. It will be less. So QB will be always less than QP. Now let us consider an ideal gas. For an ideal gas, we have an ideal equation PV is equal to nRT, where N is the number of moles of the gas. If we take 1 mole of gas, the equation will become PV is equal to RT. Now, when we take nRT, because when reactants will convert into product, there will be change in volume sometimes. Rarely, the total number of moles of reactant will be equal to total number of moles of product. But in most of the cases, number of moles of reactants will not be equal to number of moles of reactant. Therefore, there will be change. That change is denoted by delta N. Let N2 is number of moles of product and N1 number of moles of reactants. Then the change in number of moles or difference in number of moles of these two is given by delta N. And V1 and V2 are the volumes in initial and final state. Means V1 is the volume of reactants, V2 is the volume of product. Therefore, V2 minus V1 will be given as delta V. Therefore, P delta V will be equal to delta N into RT. And we know P delta V is nothing but equal to work. Therefore, if we substitute W for P delta V, we will get W is equal to delta N RT. Our work done by this type of system will be equal to delta N RT. Means change in number of moles into gas constant into the temperature. Since QP, that is heat at constant pressure, will be equal to QV plus P delta V, that is heat at constant volume plus work done. Therefore, delta H will be equal to delta E plus delta nRT. The above equation holds good only for gaseous system. When a chemical reaction is taking place in gaseous state, that means reactants are gases and product are gases, then only this equation holds good. Which equation? Delta H is equal to delta E plus delta nRT. Means change in enthalpy is equal to increase in internal energy, and sum of these two means delta nRT, or some work done. Why? Because if the reaction is not taking place in gaseous system, means it will be either for liquid system or for solid system, and change in volume in those two systems will be negligible or it will be zero. So change in volume will be observed only for gaseous system. Therefore, this equation holds good for gaseous system. Now let us consider the second topic, which is nothing but heat capacity of a system. What is heat capacity? It is nothing but the ratio of heat absorbed by change in temperature. So heat capacity of a system means capacity to absorb heat and store energy. It is nothing but the capacity of a substance or a system to absorb heat and store energy. Means it depends upon the nature of substance. So heat capacity is, it depends on nature of the substance. Consider that if Q calories of heat is absorbed by a system to change its temperature from T1 to T2, naturally T1 will be less than T2 because heat is absorbed. In reverse case, T2 will be less than T1, and that case heat will be lost. So here we are considering Q calories of heat is absorbed by a system so that temperature rises from T1 to T2 for a system. The heat capacity of the system will be given by the following expression, which is nothing but C is equal to Q divided by T2 minus T1. Here C is heat capacity, C represent heat capacity, and Q heat absorbed, and T2 minus T1 is nothing but the change in temperature or delta T. So this equation can become equal to C is equal to Q by delta T, or C is equal to Q by T. This is the reason why I told you in the beginning that heat capacity is the ratio between heat absorbed and temperature. So thus heat capacity of a system may be defined as the amount of heat absorbed by it in rising in temperature by 1 degree. So if delta T is 1, if delta T is 1, or the difference between two temperatures is 1 degree, then it is called heat capacity of a system, and it is therefore given in either in Kelvin or in degree centigrade. Therefore, it is C is equal to dou Q by dou T. It is the ratio. Thus, heat capacity of a system may be defined as the ratio of the amount of heat absorbed to the rising temperature. This is heat absorbed to rising temperature or change in temperature. Heat capacity is expressed in calories per degree per mole. Calories per degree per mole. Or it can also be expressed in joule per degree per mole. Joule per degree per mole. Now heat capacities again will be of two types, at constant volume or at constant pressure. You know that at constant volume, no work done for gas or a system. Okay, when volume is kept constant, work done is zero. So according to first law of thermodynamics, heat capacity at constant volume is given by Q is equal to delta E plus W. Now heat capacity at constant volume is given by CV. Here we represent constant volume. So it is given by Q is equal to delta E plus W. It is first law of thermodynamics. The heat absorbed by the system is utilized to increase its internal energy and to do some work, or change in internal energy and doing some work. Now, we are taking volume as constant, means V2 minus V1 are same, and therefore delta V, that is V2 minus V1 is 0. Therefore, the whole work done will be 0 because the product of V and delta V is 0. Therefore, we can say the whole heat absorbed by the system is utilized to increase the internal energy of the system. system utilize its energy absorbed to increase its internal energy. Now, according to definition, heat capacity at constant volume is given by Cv, which will be equal to Q divided by T2 minus T1 or delta T. Now, Q is equal to delta E. Why? Because at constant volume, delta V is equal to 0 or P delta V is equal to 0. Therefore, we remain with delta E, that is change in internal energy. So, heat capacity at constant volume is given by the ratio of change in internal energy to change in temperature, or Cv is equal to delta E divided by delta T, or if it is a small change, then Cv is equal to dE by dt. Second condition, or second case, constant pressure. In this case, heat capacity is represented by Cp. Cp. P means pressure is kept constant. Again, according to first law of thermodynamics, heat capacity is given by Q is equal to delta E plus P delta V. This is first law of thermodynamics. Now, P is kept constant, means pressure is constant, therefore there can be change in volume or the system can do some work, and that some work is nothing but pressure volume work, and pressure volume work will be given as product of pressure, external pressure and change in volume. Also, according to definition, heat capacity at constant pressure is given by, look here, Cp, that is heat capacity at constant pressure, is Q divided by T2 minus T1, means it is the ratio between heat absorbed to change in temperature. Now, because pressure is kept constant, therefore the system can utilize the heat absorbed in increasing its internal energy and to do some work. It can utilize the heat absorbed in either way, or in both way. It can use it to increase its internal energy and to do some work, means delta E plus P delta V. And this delta E plus P delta V is nothing but delta H. So, Cp is equal to delta H by delta T. And for a small change, it will be equal to delta H by delta P. Here P represents constant pressure. So, heat capacity at constant pressure is given by delta H by delta T, or it is the ratio between enthalpy and change in temperature. Now, the final thing, what relationship it will have means the relation between Cp and Cv. As I told you, when pressure is kept constant, the system will do some work. Therefore, heat absorbed will be utilized to increase internal energy and to do some work, means delta H. And for Cv, it is at constant volume, means the system can absorb energy and increase its internal energy. So naturally, delta E will be more here. Therefore, Cv can be given by this equation, Cp with this equation. Here, if we expand delta H, or we can say delta H is equal to delta E plus P delta V, then we have this factor extra here. So when we subtract Cp and Cv, we will get delta E will get cancelled and we will remain with P delta V, or work done. It is pressure volume work done. Therefore, Cp minus Cv is always equal to work done. Now take the advantage of the definitions. If the gas is 1 mole, or 1 mole of a gas is taken, the ideal gas equation, which is PV is equal to nRT, will become equal to RT. Why? Because N is equal to 1 RT. And according to definition of heat capacity, we will take increase in temperature by 1 degree centigrade. So T is 1. When it is increase or temperature is increased by 1 degree centigrade, then it is 1. Therefore, this PV or P delta V will be equal to R. PV is equal to R or P delta V, change product of external pressure P and change in volume will be equal to R. Therefore, Cp minus Cv will be R, and R is nothing but gas constant. Or we can also write, or we can also get from this relationship Cp minus Cv. We know that Cp is equal to change in enthalpy. It is the ratio between change in enthalpy to the change in temperature, minus Cv is equal to change in internal energy to the change in temperature. Therefore, delta H by delta T minus delta E by delta T. Now, when we subtract this, we will get P delta V, or PV is equal to RT. Again, for T is equal to 1, that is change in temperature is 1, then we get only R. Therefore, in this way also, we get Cp minus Cv as R. This is called relationship between Cp and Cv. Always the difference of Cp and Cv is equal to R. R, the difference between heat content at constant pressure and heat content at constant volume is R. So, because some work is done here in Cv will be less than Cp, and the difference is R. With this, we will conclude the lesson, today's lesson. Thank you for watching. Thank you one and all.